Alabama loses to Vanderbilt on Saturday in what was a historic game for the Vanderbilt program. Probably the best win in that program's history. History. Took down the field goal post, stormed the field, a sight I thought we were going to see in Knoxville. In Knoxville. We actually saw it in Nashville, which is crazy for Vanderbilt. They get a win here against Alabama. I briefly talked about this in my recap video for the weekend, and I want to make a full video about this because I do have some more points here. And I look at this game, right? And I feel like I called this somewhat because last week I made a video. Now, I didn't say Vanderbilt was going to beat Bama. I didn't say that. I thought it was going to be Tennessee in 2 weeks. But I did say that this secondary for Alabama is very subject, very bad. Not good, and could lose them a game. And I think it ultimately did lose them a game. You could say, well, there was turnovers. They didn't play that badly. They gave up 40 points to Vanderbilt. That's more points than I think Nick Saban's ever given up to Vanderbilt in his whole career, or something absurd, right? They give more points in the first quarter. And Vanderbilt's just figured things out, right? And I look now, there's a lot of fingers you can point for this Bama loss. I saw tackles who were supposed to be first-round picks getting destroyed by this Vanderbilt D-line, which is a little concerning and a little eye-opening, right? I turn and I look at DeBoer for this reason, because DeBoer's an offensive guy, an offensive coach, and the defense obviously was a problem. We saw this throughout the whole year. It was a problem. This was clearly a look-ahead spot, and this was like oh yeah, to DeBoer. I'm in the SEC. There's a legit team I'm going to be playing almost every single week, and I got to be ready and locked in for it. Now, I get it. It's Vanderbilt, the worst team in the SEC, but Vanderbilt is a legit SEC team this year. They almost beat Missouri. They beat Bama now. You get Kentucky now on the road, which should be a somewhat competitive game, right? This Vanderbilt team can play. They got quarterback figured out at Pavia, and it helps a lot. Pavia looked like the best quarterback on the field. And Milroe was the Heisman favorite coming into this game. And once they got down to a lead, it was so hard for Bama to really execute enough to come back in this game because the defense couldn't get a stop really, and then Milroe can't really throw the ball at such an elite level over and over and over and over and come back and win a game like a Cam Ward did for Miami this week. That is a real problem with Milroe. You can kind of game plan that very, very well. And I just think the bottom line here is Vanderbilt's a legit SEC team this year. I think that is what really this came down to, and Vanderbilt just completely overlooked them, considering in 2 weeks they got Tennessee. And I think if DeBoer was in the Pac-12 with Washington, he could easily overlook the bottom of the Pac-12 and think about his game with Oregon, his game with Utah, whatever it was, right? And completely overlook the bottom of this conference. You can't do that with the SEC. You can't. And I think he learned that lesson today. And this can't happen again. If you're Alabama, you almost have to beat Tennessee on the road now, which is not going to be an easy game. And you're lucky, Alabama is lucky, Georgia already has lost. You already beat Georgia. You already got that hump out of the way. That's monstrous. And you're so lucky that Tennessee lost. You are very lucky that Tennessee also lost. The network hates it, but it did happen. And it's kind of a missed opportunity here for Bama. They would have been a game up on everyone. They would have been tied with Texas, because Texas now is like, all right, this is awesome. We'll take first place, and we'll sit back and watch you guys now have to beat each other up to try and get this second spot. I know Texas still has to play Georgia, but even if they lose that game, they're still probably looking pretty. If they win every other game, obviously. I feel like I called this a tad. I said the secondary was bad. I said it. I said it was still a problem. They're very young. They can't stop anybody. They let Georgia score 2 touchdowns in 4 plays to come back in that game. It was one of the worst collapses I've seen in a secondary in almost the history of college football. And now you lose to a team that Nick Saban said prior to this game, all SEC games are hard except Vanderbilt. That's what Nick Saban said prior to this game. and DeBoer goes out there and loses. It's not a good look, right? You beat Georgia, then you lose to Vanderbilt. Now you got to go on the road to beat a pretty good Tennessee team, although they lost. And it's just funny to me. I'm going to leave you guys with this. It is funny to me because I said Tennessee will be ripping down the goalposts when they beat Bama in 2 weeks on October 19th. But instead, we saw the post get ripped down for Vanderbilt when they beat Alabama this week. And we saw the goalposts get ripped down in Arkansas when they beat Tennessee this week. And what was a little bit of a turn of events in college football at a start of a crazy, crazy week in sports in general. Ultimately, my name is Joshua C. If you liked the video, please hit subscribe. Please hit the like button. If you like sports, I promise there's something on the channel for you. We got tons of stuff that we are covering for this weekend on the channel right now, so please hit subscribe. My name is Joshua C. Thank you.